My name is Zizo Isabelo Zam Ableni. I was born in 1994 in February. I'm a child who grew up under a loving family. My maternal side of the family, that is who I am basically. Like, I am this person who went through a lot, but at the end persevered and came out to be the woman that I am today. I grew up in the Eastern Cape.
In the Eastern Cape?
Yes.
Growing up as Sizo, how was it like?
It was good because my mom and my dad were not married.
Okay.
So I was conceived in college, they met in college and I was conceived, and then my mom's, because she was still in varsity, I had to go live with my grandparents. So that is the life that I was used to, living with cousins, and my mom would come and visit when she gets paid at work. And so that is how I grew up, in that type of setting of a family.
Yeah. Take me through your childhood, man. I feel like there's a lot, that happened in your childhood, the best memories that happened in your childhood, your relationship with your mom, your relationship with your dad as well. How was those relationships?
All right. So typically when my mom told my dad that she was pregnant, my dad didn't want anything to do with the pregnancy. And he was like, no, this is not my child. You know how it goes. And then I was born and I lived with my grandparents, and life was just like that for me up until I turned maybe 4 or 5. And I was introduced to this man now who I get to call my father, because before then, I knew the father figures that I knew in my life were my uncles. Those were the father figures I knew, but I knew that they were not my fathers because I was with my cousins who were their daughters and sons and whatnot, and they called them Odada, and I knew how to call them not as dad, So I knew that I didn't have a dad, but I did have male figures around me, especially with my grandfather too. He was also around. So when I'm like 5 years old, I get introduced to this man who's going to be like, now, this is your father. And I was so excited for myself to actually have someone that I can call a father. And it was just an exciting journey for me. And my dad was just incredible in terms of making sure that I had everything that I needed. And he was teaching at the same town that I went to school at.
So he was a teacher?
Yes, he was a teacher. So he would come visit me during my school hours, and it was just that relationship between a father and a daughter. So life continued, and then in the year 2001, he asked that I go live with him because he didn't like that I went to rural schools. So he was also moving to another town in Mthatha. So he was like, why don't you move with me, and just for you to get to Model C schools and then, to get a better education. So my family already knew him and what he was capable of doing. So they were they were like, oh, okay, no, it's fine. That's a great opportunity for her. You can take her. Everything is fine. So I went to live with him. Okay. But when I arrived, he had married someone else.
Okay.
And they had a daughter, and then there was me. So there were 4 of us living in this house.
Before you go forward, when he suggested that you're going to stay with him, what did your mother say?
My mom was in agreement with everyone because it was a discussion.
Family discussion.
Yeah, it was a family discussion. Okay, now are we all agreeing? Because this man has been paying the fees, has been, supporting, did everything. So there's nothing that we can't say he can't do it, because in our culture, there are also those things of paying if a man gets a girl pregnant. But my family is not that much into that. But as long as the father is supportive and all of that. So that was like, oh, okay, he's already done his part, if I can put it like that. So it's fine. He's shown that he's capable of taking care of. Obviously, there were weekends and holidays that I would go and visit. It was arranged like that. It wasn't like a forever thing. So the relationship between my maternal family wasn't cut off. You know, he was not like taking me entirely. So yeah, I went to go and live in Umtata, and yeah, as I said, that he was married and there was a child. And as soon as I arrived there, I realized that there are problems in terms of they were physically fighting. They were fighting, and it's something that I was never used to. My uncles were married, and my uncle, my grandfather and my grandmother were married. I'd never seen them fight. I'd never seen them shout each other. So it was quite a foreign concept for me to see adults fighting. I knew that when you get a beating as a child, you obviously did something wrong. So in my 7-year-old mind, I thought maybe my mom, my stepmother now, did something wrong. This is why she's getting a beating, you know. So I was now introduced to that life where they would fight, they would have these fights, and I would have to rescue the baby and run away with her to go to the neighbors and just stay there until the storm has calmed, and when they're fine, and then I would take the baby back and life just continues as if nothing happened.
I know at the time there were not a lot of cell phones, like social media today, but I know that at some point you were able to visit back your family that you grew up with. Did you not try to tell them?
But all of this, okay, so this other day, they had this huge fight. This happened like as soon as I arrived in January, and in March, like in February already, they're already fighting and all of that. And I knew that I'm only going to be able to see my mom maybe in the holidays, or when she comes to visit on the weekends, you know, like when she comes to see me, when she gets a chance to come and see me. So I didn't have a chance to be able to tell them what is going on. And I was still a baby. I was young. I was only 7 at that time.
It was very difficult for you.
Yes, it was very difficult. It was a difficult concept for me. As I said earlier, it was a normal thing in the sense that maybe my mom did something wrong. This is why now she's getting beaten, because that's how I grew up. You get a hiding. If you don't do your dishes or you don't do that, you get a hiding, you know. So that's how it was in my mind.
Did you some point try to intervene in the fight, or you would just run away all the time?
No, I would just run away.
But it was very traumatic for you, I'm sure.
Definitely.
Because all the sounds and the noises, you hearing people bashana game,
yes.
We are laughing, but it's actually
it was
very
a lot.
serious.
It was a lot.
Jeez, man. Then what happened?
So this other day now, they had this huge fight that ended up my stepmother taking the baby and just packing up a few clothes and leaving. So she left, and then it was on that night that my dad raped me. And when it happened, it was like, oh, maybe this is also a part of what happens to daughters and their fathers. I thought it was just like a normal thing that happens. Yes, it was extremely painful. It was just a lot, but I never thought that it was wrong.
Pause. The same night that your stepmother left is the same night that your dad raped you.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So to you, it was like, maybe this is how things should be.
Yes, so this is how things happen. I was also thinking about my cousins who were females. I'm like, okay, maybe my uncles do this to them, but no one, why didn't they tell me, you know? So that is how I got to keep quiet, because I thought it was a normal thing and no one talks about it.
7 years old?
7 years old.
How old was your dad? Were you aware?
I don't know.
Sure. Do you remember that night, though?
Yes, I do.
Are you able to take me through?
Yes, because okay, so we were watching TV. It was after he had a fight, and I was just there watching TV, and I remember now because we lived in a commune setting, so each room that it was a big house, and then each room had a family of their own, and I would sleep on the floor with the baby when stepmom was home, and they would sleep on the bed. So this night now, my dad calls me to come and sleep on the bed, because stepmom and baby are not home. So and then all of a sudden he's asking that I come on top of him, and as soon as I'm on top of him, he's on top of me. It was just like a split of a second thing. He's on top of me, and already he's penetrating me. It was just a quick process, but painful one. But for me, it seemed as though it was not ending, and that happened. And in the bathroom, when he was done in the bathroom, there was already water inside. I don't know. Maybe it was when I was watching TV that he went and got water into the bathtub, and he put me into that water, and he washed me thoroughly. He washed me, and probably that washing took about an hour, because now when I realize he was trying to get rid of the evidence in case anything happened. And I remember the following day, I think it was a Saturday, and obviously I was going to go play with my friends, but he was like, no, you're not allowed to go and play today. And I could also feel my body wasn't allowing me to go and play. So that day he spent nursing me of my pain and all of that. So that was the first experience.
That's very painful, man. That's very painful. But how did you digest the whole experience, Because that was new to you. You had no idea whether that was rape.
It was very difficult. It was very difficult because now I started to miss home, I started to miss not having a father anymore. If this is what having a father meant, I didn't want it in terms of the physical pain, because I just was like, no, this cannot, like, mommy, like, like as a child, like, when is the stepmother? Even with the stepmother, it wasn't all nice when she was around, when it's just me and her, it was just a typical stepmother and daughter relationship. It wasn't nice, but I missed her. Like, I wanted her to come back, because I knew that when she's not here, this doesn't happen. It doesn't happen when she's around. Because all these months that I have been here already, none of this happened. But now when she's gone home, this happens.
So in the house, it was just the two of you alone?
Yes, it was just the two of them.
Did you perhaps try to run away by any chance?
No, I did not.
Was it the last time he did that to you?
No, it was not the last time. That was the beginning of many more times, because my stepmother did eventually come back, and life was good. They would have their fights and all of that. But then whenever my stepmother decided, no, man, I'm just going to visit my family, and then he would get an opportunity, unless I had gone to other family members. Now his sister also lived around, so she would like invite me on weekends. So I knew my cousins from that side, so I would go there. Then he would not have the chance to rape me.
Did you try to tell somebody by any chance?
No.
Even your mom?
Even my mom, and my mom would constantly visit, but I just didn't have.
Did he threaten you?
No, he didn't threaten me at that time.
Did he give you money, like so that
Definitely,
you can just...
I was at school. I was the child who had everything. I was the child, like, my dad wore brands, so like I had sneakers, branding, all of that. And after the incident, he would take me to a restaurant, buy clothes, and then come back. But then in the child of a mind in the mind of a child, then it didn't click that he was actually manipulating the situation. So I just like, oh, okay, this happened yesterday. Healing, there would be a day in between for my healing or whatever. I would be in bed, and then the next day it's shopping, it's this and that and the other.
So this became normal to you?
It became normal, yes.
Yeah, I know. You know what's confusing me is that your dad was a teacher. I mean, like, this is a person that teaches young kids.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? And you would think that this is a person that's supposed to be protecting kids and inspiring kids and teaching kids what's wrong, what's right. You know what I mean? But now he's doing this to his own daughter.
Yeah. And apparently the school that he left the previous year so that he could go to Mthatha with me, he had done the same thing, but it was like under the carpet thing, and they advised him to just resign and go look at a school elsewhere. And also that family didn't take it, further, and it just ended there, and he just relocated, and life basically continued for him.
Let's go a little bit forward. Now, what do you think was the problem with him?
I have no idea.
Do you think maybe he was possessed or something?
Like, I feel like you would say someone is possessed if they did that once, if it was like a once-off thing. But to continue doing it for 7 years, I don't think you could say that they're possessed. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to. I don't know.
When you look back, do you think you're the only
No,
girl?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Because I remember in the year now 2002, my mom, also during that year, my mom could see that, no, man, my child is not happy, even though she could not pinpoint. She says that she saw that I was losing weight, and now I am reserved. When she would come and visit, I was no longer that bubbly person. So she's like, okay, maybe it's because of the stepmother, so let me just take her. So she took me and I went to live with her. But then there were some weekends that he would ask that I go visit him. He's buying me clothes and all of that, and that I need to fit the clothes, so I should go to him. So whenever an opportunity arose from there, he would take it and rape me. And then I remember in those days when I used to visit him, there were schoolgirls that would come, and things happened, now I remember that they would be having sex, with me in the room, and I would be sleeping. So there were like schoolgirls in uniform would constantly come into the house, and
while you were in the room?
While I was in the room, yes.
How long did this last for? Did it happen for months or for years?
It happened for years. Because I ended up not living with him anymore. I even went to boarding school. But whenever there was something, maybe at home there's a celebration that needs to be done, and he's buying the clothes for that. When I have to go to him he always insisted that I need to go so that I fit the clothes and all of that. So that was when it would happen. That's how it stretched to happen for 7 years.
So he would find a way to
Yes.
see you naked by you fitting clothes next to him, and then he would take the advantage. But it's quite shocking because you speak about the kids that used to come there. I don't know, were they doing, when you look at them, were they doing grade 11, grade 12?
Definitely, they were grade 11. Yes, they were like, because he taught like at a high school. So it was like grade 11s, because they would come dressed in their uniform.
Do you think maybe he was spoiling them, maybe buying them airtime? Because airtime at the time
the time was a thing.
Yeah.
Probably.
Jeez, man.
Yeah.
But what's shocking, because I think this is crazy. That's why I'm thinking maybe he was possessed. How will he, do something like that, invite kids from his school where he teaches and have sex with them while you are in the room.
Yeah.
And you can literally hear a grade 11-year-old screaming.
Yeah.
And you know that that also happens to you.
Yes.
You said this happened for how many years?
For 7 years. For 7 years. Because in grade 7 now, at the school that I was in, it ended at grade 7. It was a primary school. And there was the year-end function when you're leaving to another school. So he was, like, again, buying me the clothes for that function. So I had to go to Umtata, and he raped me, and fortunately, I fell pregnant. I had started my period, and I remember the previous year when I started my period, I went to an adult to tell them that I'm pregnant. I started my period, and they just warned me to stay away from boys. Almost they didn't really like sit you down and tell you that when you start your periods, this is what happens and whatnot. So they just told me to stay away from boys. And I remember there was a story that we were read about an uncle touching their niece. And in my head, I thought, oh, the uncle is wrong. It's supposed to be a dad who does that, to their daughters, not uncles. And I did, when I went to visit him, I did tell him that, listen, I heard something like this, and I think you are doing the same thing. And then that's when the threatening started. And the threats were about, I'm never going to buy you clothes again. You're going to be a liar. No one is going to love you. You're just going to be an orphan, basically, you know. So, and then I was quiet now. I was like, okay, no, I'm not going to talk about this. I'm not telling one about this until the next year that I went to visit him and I fell pregnant. And so I fell pregnant. My mom was told that I'm pregnant. I got sick at school. Like, I also didn't even know that I am pregnant. I got sick at school and I was taken to a nearby hospital clinic. And there...
How old were you?
I'm 13 now.
13 now,
yes.
Okay.
13, and I was taken to that hospital, and the doctor was like, Ish, I don't know what is happening, but just in case, let's just do a pregnancy test, And he did do a pregnancy test, and it was positive. And my mom had to literally explain to me how a person gets pregnant because I didn't know how it happens. And it was when my mom explained to me the process of how a person gets pregnant, I was like, oh, that thing, that is what my dad does to me, and he's been doing it since I started living with him.
Jeez, man. So your own dad made you pregnant. So how were you able to explain to your mom? Because probably you had that chat.
I don't, like, I was just like, Mom, because my mom started obviously as a black parent.
Yeah.
She started by shouting as to how could you get pregnant at such a young age and whatnot and whatnot. And me, I thought pregnancy was a sickness, She just had to explain to me what is wrong with me because the doctor said I'm pregnant. So, and I'm like, Mom, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, what do you mean I'm going to have a baby? Like, what do you mean? And it was when she took me through the process that, no, man, don't make me a fool. Like when a boy does this and that, I'm like, oh, Mina, the only thing of a boy that I've ever seen is my dad's. And what you are explaining is what my dad does to me. And she was obviously shocked. And then I just told her, Guti, this has been happening like since 2001, ever since I lived with him. But Mina, I thought it was normal. I thought it was something that was supposed to be happening. And then last year, he started threatening me that you would never love me, that you would get rid of me, all of that. So that's when I decided not to tell anyone about what was happening to me. And then that's when my mom reassured me that, no, man, that is a lie. I still love you and I'm here to protect you and all of that. And that's how the process of going to the police and all of that began.
So your mom went to the police?
Yes, on my behalf.
To open a case?
Yes.
So how did your dad take this?
He obviously denied it.
Okay.
He denied that this happened. And because it had happened over a long period of time, I had already bathed. I had, there was no evidence on me except for the fetus that was growing inside of me. So it was basically decided by everyone, family, social workers, that I need to get rid of the pregnancy. First of all, it's my dad's baby, and it will also help in terms of the court case in evidence purposes.
Yeah.
So, but even before that was done, I had a miscarriage. So that didn't work in my favor. So now it was just my word against his.
Jeez, man. Have you ever thought now that if maybe you kept the baby, how things were going to be like?
Yeah, like if it was now, and I would also have made the same decision for myself.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine, first of all, what would I call the baby? Is it my sister? Is it my child? Like, it was just the dynamics of it. Like and obviously it was going to be a constant reminder of something painful that has happened to me, and like even now I would have decided to terminate
The baby.
Yes.
Your mom was probably very angry at him.
Definitely.
The fights were like literally on another level.
Yeah.
But did he try, obviously you did mention that he defended himself. Did it escalate to a point whereby you guys are going to court now?
Yes, we went to court, but justice system of South Africa. We reported the case in 2007, but I was only able to go to court in 2011 when I was 17 years old. So all those years in between, it was all, no, go back. He's not ready. This is missing. That is missing. It was just a lot of up and downs up until 2011. But then even then, I was not allowed to be in court physically because I was still young.
Yeah.
So I was in another room, and through an intermediary, I was able to share my testimony.
And your dad was walking freely.
Freely all those years.
And I'm probably sure he was doing the same thing even
I'm
when you guys were...
I'm sure.
Jeez, but that's crazy, man. Why would your dad do something like that to you? I mean, he's supposed to love you. He's supposed to protect you.
Yes.
And I'm sure that his family, they were defending him.
Yeah, definitely. They were.
To say, no, we are unamaga, They even, I'm probably sure they even thought that your family, your mom's family, they were trying to
They influenced her because it was a thing of maybe because she was the one that didn't get the marriage, so now she's using the child to, but she's being spiteful, but so it was like that for many years. Like I think even now it's still like that because we have no communication whatsoever.
Was he found guilty?
He was found guilty eventually, I think 2016, I think so. And but he's already out. He got out in 2023.
He was in jail for how long?
I think from 2016 to 2023.
Yeah, probably 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys have any communication by any chance?
No.
Would you face him?
I did because in prison they have these programs that they have to do, asking for forgiveness and all of that. So yes, I was able to face him. I was able to tell him everything that I felt, and but there was and there's still no remorse from his side.
So he didn't even apologize.
He did, but I just think he apologized. He apologized because he was in the process. He was in that process. He needed to do it so that parole and all of those things, it was just beneficial for him, So, no, I'm sorry for doing this. But as soon as he got out, like for someone who would have apologized in jail and all of that, should have came back and be like, okay, I'm out. What can we? But none of that has ever happened since 2023 when I heard that he got out.
When you faced him, did you try ask him that, why did you do that to me?
I did, but it was a question that he was never able to
Answer.
answer. Yes.
Do you think he's sick?
Probably, yes. I think so. I think he is.
Because, you know, I've spoken to multiple people that came from jail, and most of them, jail literally changed their mindsets, you know. So I'm only thinking that the jail change his mindset, or is he going to continue, you know, with
No,
what
he's
been
definitely
doing?
going to continue. He's definitely going to continue because in as much as the correctional services, it's for them to correct their mind and all of that. But even how he was just treating people in prison, the things that he did, and even now that he's out, it just shows that that system for him did not work. It did not work. The reason why they call it a correctional service, you know, it's for them to correct the mind, to understand why do you rob, why do you do this. But for him, I don't think it worked. It's a deeper issue than that.
Which service do you think would work for him?
I have no idea. I think like beyond repairs, if I could put it that way.
Yeah.
Because no, he's just not okay. Because I remember there's some family from his side who told me that there was a celebration of some sort that happened. And when it was his turn to speak, he spent the whole time that he was given to talk about how much I have ruined his life. So that's why I say that he's beyond repairs. I don't know what could ever, if prison didn't help him, then I don't know what could ever help him.
Obviously, you're growing up, you're after 17, 18, you're going to high school, varsity and stuff. Did it not really give you flashbacks?
It was the
trauma?
worst. It was the worst because it started in 2007. So I'm 13 years old. I am a teenager. My boobs are starting to come out. How I am, structured is starting to come out, and boys notice, But I was never able to participate in that because there was still that trauma. I knew that any male figure is here to hurt me. That's how I lived through my adolescent stage, through my teenage stage, up until my adulthood, until I got complete healing. That's when I was comfortable around male figures. Otherwise, since 2007 until 2017, yeah, it was just I didn't enjoy my childhood. I didn't enjoy anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You speak about healing. How were you able to heal?
Healing came to me in forgiveness, in the concept of forgiveness, because I got to understand what forgiveness was, that the reason why I am seeing myself in this place that I'm in, not being able to date, not being able to do whatever, is because, first of all, I was angry at him. I was angry at myself. I was angry at my family. So I was like, I've got so much bitterness inside of me, so now I'm not able to continue with life. But then the moment I realized that forgiveness is not actually about him, it's about me. It's about me. For me to be good, to be better, I needed to forgive, to let go. Then I can start focusing on my healing. So the day that I decided that I forgive him, I release the bondage he has over me, let me just move on with my life, that's when I was able to start my own healing journey and just move on with life. Yes.
Are you married now?
No, but I am in a relationship.
Was it not difficult for you, though, to find a way to, be with the guy and, try to build a relationship?
No, it was not, because this relationship came at a time when I was okay with my healing. Like, I was okay. I had taken a decision that, okay, let me wait and see as to, do I deserve to be in a relationship? Do I want to be in a relationship? All of that. So it came at a time when I was like, okay, I'm ready. Let's do it. And like, I've never had issues in terms of, like, I just put that whatever happened between my dad and I is just, it happened, and there's nothing I can do about it. And in terms of the trauma, I've dealt with it. I am fine with it. Now I'm able to just be another person to this person, give him whatever he deserves, because he's giving me whatever I deserve. So it was just, still is the relationship, like, there's nothing that we've ever fought about that has got to do with what my dad did to me. Like, I made a decision that I would not let it ruin, like, it's already ruined enough, so I would not let it ruin now this part of my life.
For somebody who's watching this, they went through what you went through, what would you say to them?
Fortunately for them, it's happening at a time like this where we are speaking out about it. They know about it. They know that it's wrong. GBV is a worldwide topic that is spoken about. So I would just encourage them to speak out, to speak out. And there are always people there to listen. Unfortunately for us, you didn't even know where to begin, who to go to, because I remember I struggled a lot with psychologists and mental health people, I struggled a lot because I was like, you don't know what I went through. You don't know it physically. You learned about it. You studied it. You studied that when a person is raped, this is how they're gonna act out, this is what they're going to do. But I believe that every person has a different way of coping, because I had my own ways that I used to think that this is how I am coping. But I would just encourage them, Uguti, it's very difficult, but try and forgive. Try and forgive. I'm talking from experience that without accepting, because whether we like it or not, it's not going to change. Unfortunately, it's not going to change the fact that I was raped by my father, the fact that he took my virginity, the fact that the first ever pregnancy that I'm ever going to experience was from him. It's not going to change. And there is absolutely no point in me dwelling in that, because it's not going to change. The best thing I can do for myself, the best way to show myself love, is to forgive, to accept, and let go.